Hello YouTube, it's Tutti, we're back. VR, Herbie Ass 007, 727 subscribers.
Carry my poker face. She has got no love, nobody. Carry you can read my poker face.
Cheers. Yeah, it's a biggie. It's hit 700, it's probably more than 727 now. A few weeks back he did a, he knocked the beer flying, sacrilege. He did a video asking for some VR entries, I suppose, into his competition. And I must admit, Ian does a mean, I don't know what you call it, competition box prize thing, I don't know. But yeah, he put some nice little items in there. I think I've won one of his competitions before, and I've seen other people win competitions he's done, and he looks after people, big style. So yeah, a little bit late, not belated, because obviously that'll be beyond the cut-off date. But Ian's very kindly allowed me to make this video. I think he's probably doing it later on today or tomorrow. So Ian asked a question very quickly. Ish, I suppose. Talk about your favourite game or gaming franchise. So for some people it'd probably be dead easy, other people maybe a bit torn. God, that's good. I mean, like a blue ass fly this morning. Right, so for me it was fairly easy, I must admit. God, look at my hair, look. All that grey in there. Took me ages to put the grey in there. Streaked it. Yeah, for me it was relatively easy. If you base it on nostalgia, rather than, I could probably say currently, if someone said to me, "Oh, what's what great gaming series or games have you played recently?" Or not recently, but relatively recently, it'd be the Uncharted or it'd be The Last of Us. But if I was to look back and say which games, even now, do I look back fondly and really have those strong ties to, it would be, and this game was the one that started it all for me, would be Final Fantasy. I have got Mystic Quest. I was going to get Mystic Quest down, but then, although it is a Final Fantasy game, it's a Mystic Quest one, and it's like an entry level version to Final Fantasy. So, although it kind of is part of the family, it's not. It is a Final Fantasy game, but it's not titled Final Fantasy. If that kind of makes sense. So yeah, I mean, obviously the game that started me into really getting into the JRPGs was Zelda, as it was for most of us. I always had a fondness for adventure role-playing games. Me and Pete Armour, Pete Love, we always talk. Always have got a fond memories of the old LucasArts point-and-click adventure games. Again, another great game I've absolutely loved this game's death was Indiana Jones: Last Crusade, the graphic adventure. It spurred a lot of interest even in Egyptology for me off the back of a freaking game. Watched the movie multiple times off the back of that. Obviously got a very, to like in Indiana Jones in itself, which are great movies anyway, but it's just the power of gaming, power of the Amiga. So yeah, I mean, it all led up to basically this game. I've talked about this game before. When I was a Saturday lad at the butcher shop, I did a borrow off one of the sort of younger lads, but he was older than me, that was there, because I pre-ordered this from a gaming shop in Coventry, long since gone now, and he ordered it from the States. I think it was 80 quid, and I never told my old man, but what this lad did, Rich, he lent me 2 weeks worth of in advance of money so I could buy this, because I think I had about half of it or something like that, so he let me like 40 quid. But yeah, many, I mean, I've spoken about this game tons of times before, but back in the day you had obviously your adapters, and there's a known bug with this, with a certain adapter. I think you had to use, I don't want to say the honeybee ones, I'm not sure if they come out for the SNES. I think I had a universal adapter, and there was a problem with that in the end credits. You never got to see the full end credits. Used to crash halfway through, and at the time you didn't know. There was no internet, so I must have killed the boss 4 or 5 times, and it got so far into the end credits, and then it would just crash and burn. And it's not until later on in life, you know, with the internet and stuff, and you do a bit of googling, you realise, yeah, there was no fault with that universal adapter, and you had to use a slightly different one, and it worked. I've never actually got back to that point, and I really should invest some time in it. But yeah, and again, like we've all got these memories. I sold this off with my Super Nintendo back in the day with my Zelda and everything. Oh, yeah. But one game I haven't got, and you know, I've always got one eye on, is Final Fantasy 2 on the SNES, which the game is a US only release. So that's definitely one that's on the radar. That is only missing the poster, I believe. I don't need to get the poster. It'd be nice to get the poster. Well, I bought that years back now, and I think I paid about the same amount that I paid when I was like 14 or something. I think I paid about 80 quid for this in the States. So, like I say, that one really cemented JRPGs. Again, another series that I could have talked about was Phantasy Star on the Sega systems, Master System mainly, and then obviously the Mega Drive ones. But they were kind of in the same time frame for me, because not many people had a Mega Drive. And again, my friend Darren, he had a Master System, and that's where we played and completed Phantasy Star. That was in the same sort of, you know, within a year or two of me getting the SNES and obviously getting to Final Fantasies. Then obviously we move on a little bit, don't we? We skip to the next generation, and you got the PlayStation and the system seller for a lot of people that maybe weren't into the sort of games that it was spewing out. But obviously, being a massive Final Fantasy fan, you know, following Square and Super Play and all that kind of stuff, yeah, it's none other than Final Fantasy 7. And again, I bought PlayStation purely just to play this game. I still haven't completed it. I know. When I remember playing it back in the day, I got to the point where you have to go into the volcano, and Sephiroth's on the edge of the volcano. Was it like a ditch or a meteorite crater or something like that? I don't know how far or how much was left of the game. I can't remember. But again, I think I did that stupid thing, and I must have moved the PlayStation on or something. So yeah, another game that I really should go back and you know, attempt to complete. And then off the back of these, again, I've put very little time into any of these. You know, I have to hold my hands up. They're all obviously the re-releases, if you like. Well, not the re-releases, but the subsequent follow-ups. So, Final Fantasy 8. You got 9. And I think 9's a lot of people's favourites, isn't it? And then these are the re-releases. So Final Fantasy Origins, which is Final Fantasy 2. So technically you could sort of say, why don't you just play Final Fantasy 2 on this Doom? You don't need to get the American Super Nintendo version, but it's not about that sometimes, is it? The Anthology, so that's 4 and 5. And then obviously 6. So, yeah, I mean, for me, like I say, I know it's lost its way. I think a lot of people probably agree, you know, the last few years, especially if it's going obviously to the 360 and etc. It's kind of not the same game it used to be. I know people were raving about the PS4 version, and then everyone went, actually, it's great, but it's not really a Final Fantasy game. I haven't played it. So I haven't played any really of the later iterations, like even the PlayStation 2 versions. I know some people quite like them, but when it went beyond the next generation after PlayStation 2, a lot of people were disappointed. But for me, it'll always be that one. Absolutely brilliant. Had so many fond memories of playing this game, really did. I mean, I spent some hours and hours into it. You know, there was a magazine that I had. It was an import magazine. I didn't import it; it was just in the shops. Oh God, what is it called? It's a very popular Game Pro in the States, and there was a section. And the reason why I bought it because it had like a section like hints and helps, Final Fantasy 3 and stuff like that. How to find this you know, super duper sword. I remember that bit. It was in one of the castles that was collapsing. You had to wait, and not wait, but you had to wait to a certain point and then move to the right, and it was hidden behind some sort of wall that caved in. Another little trick was you wait on the airship. You know, all the other characters are running to you saying, "Come on, we need to go, we need to go, we need to go." And if you wait, keep waiting, and then Shadow comes back, and you get Shadow back into your team. Little tricks like that, but yeah. And Doom, I think Doom was the definitive spell. If you got everyone to have Doom, the end boss was a piece of piss. I think you had to farm the dinosaurs in one of the forests. That was the easiest way to get it. I remember spending hours just walking around this forest, killing these dinosaurs, the big diplodocuses they were. But yeah, I mean, you know, anyone who's into gaming, they know of Final Fantasy. They may not have played or, you know, sunk any great deal of time to them, but they all know. Absolutely fantastic franchise. So anyway, that's it. Hopefully short and sweet. Yeah. So, well done, Big E, and good luck to everybody. And here's to another 727 subs, pal. Take it easy.